Well, here's what I heard, right? I mean, there were some laws. They were trying to rewrite the commission handbooks and the city council guides and all that kind of stuff. And they're like trying to make a rule that says, if you were serving on the city before, you couldn't actually serve on a commission later on, trying to create those kind of restrictions. Like it'd be better if they said, like, if you're a former elected official, you couldn't lobby like for like 5 years. Like that would be a better rule. But they were trying to figure out ways if they could retroactively take out Stephen Sharf, our two-time mayor, the current chair twice of the planning commission, because they also don't agree with his views, right? So that's kind of what it looks like. This is a massive politically biased approach to take out people they don't agree with. Now, to your question about planning commission, why is planning commission important? The commission's important because we do a couple of things. Like we are responsible for the general plan and zoning and ordinances. And our job is becoming less important because the state is trying to take away those rights. Like if you don't want like a 15-story, multi-unit next to your single family home, that's what zoning rules do, right? If you want to make sure that school areas are safe and don't have, sites that are selling tobacco and liquor and pornography and, bail bonds, I mean, that's what zoning does, right? And so planning is so important in creating those local ordinances. If you don't want to have toxic materials and sites on your developed like location, let's say like Valco, and we'll just name it, right? That's what planning does. And we have a great city council woman, Kitty Moore, who is our Erin Brockovich, that said, hey, look, this land is listed. It's toxic. You shouldn't even be building on it. And planning is the first step in line of defense to say, hey, that's a bad idea. Council, what do you think? Like we can make recommendations. They're not necessarily always binding, but we make recommendations and we're the first line of defense for residents to say, does this make sense? That's why the planning commission is important. And maybe that's why they're going after me.